Good morning, fifth and sixth grade scholars. I want to quickly go over my grading policy with you, and you guys will have plenty of opportunity to ask questions about it later on. I feel that the most important part of education is the time spent while learning. Not everyone is a great test taker, and oftentimes anxiety over testing causes stress and aggravation. This is not needed and gets in the way of the actual learning. Actual learning comes from the work while learning. Hence, the learning activities that we do during class time. So, tests, essays, and projects are worth 30% of your grade. When we have a test, we will spend time in class reviewing for that test. If there's an essay, we'll spend time in class writing it. And if we have projects, we will spend time in class exploring that project. However, you are also expected to do additional work, studying, writing, and researching or whatnot for your project during your asynchronous learning. Quizzes, that's worth 20%. When we have a quiz, I'll let you know in advance if it's material, and it will be on material that we have been learning in class. And it will be explicitly explained what you need to be studying for. So that's going to be like a spelling quiz, a vocabulary quiz, or even a quiz on the material that we've been working on. Classwork, 40%. So we have daily sheets, and I expect you to turn it in by the end of the period. This tells me that you've been paying attention, that you've been interacting with the lesson, that you've been taking notes and doing what's been expected. So if you are not following along and not doing what's expected, then you're going to get a poor grade on the daily sheet. So you can get exemplary, which is you had fantastic participation, and that can be actually doing the daily sheet. You don't have to be talking back and forth with the class to be participating. You're working well with the class. You're showing that you completely understand the material beyond expectation. This will be above a 90, probably 100. That's the credit you'll get for it. 3 points. That's great work. And that's where I expect most students to be, is a 3 on the daily sheet. The student showed solid participation in the class or on the daily sheet. You worked well with class, and you showed that you understood most of the material. Yeah, I had a pretty good grasp. Your score will be somewhere between a 70 and a 90. It's probably going to be right in the middle at an 80. I expect most students to be right there. 2 points. Nice effort. Student had shown desire to grow through participation. You worked well with the class. You were listening, being respectful, and you can tell that you're listening and being respectful because your camera is on and I can see that you are paying attention. You show that you have a beginning understanding the material, but you're still not quite there. This will somewhere between a 60 and a 70, probably closer to a 60. 2, 3, and 4, all passing scores. 1 point, more is needed. Student was off task, the camera was off, and had a hard time working with others and following direction, didn't show an understanding of the materials. We need to revisit this. And that score will be a 40. Now, regarding the cameras, I understand if you have poor internet and you're not able to talk and or listen with your camera on. I understand that. Let me know that that's the situation. Just send me a private message in the chat, and do participate by talking. 0 points. Were you there? The student didn't do the work on the daily sheet or didn't turn it in. This score is a 0. Please remember to turn in your work. If you don't do any work, don't expect to get more than a 0. Asynchronous learning. Reader's notebook. You may notice that I have spelling and grammar errors in my summaries. Take the lead on that. I'm not looking for you to be perfect when you do your summary. Just give me a rough idea of what you read. So read anything. A comic book, a novel you love, a magazine, even an online article. If you love sports, you go to ESPN.com and you read about your favorite sports team. Then take 15 minutes and read, and then summarize what you read. And I want you to add an emoji to actually reflect on how you feel about what you read. Writer's notebook. Again, you'll notice that I have spelling and grammar errors in my writing, and I want you to understand. I just want you to write. I'm not looking for you to be perfect yet. Oh, we'll get there. I want you to spend 5 or more minutes writing about anything you want. You can use the prompts that I give in the assignment on Google Classroom. You may have I may suggest something to write about in class. Like last week, if you could go to any country, what country would it be and why? You can write about anything that you're thinking about at that moment. Maybe you just woke up and you had a dream that you want to write down. Go for it. Write about anything. And again, I don't want it to be perfect. I don't care about spelling. I don't care about anything other than that you have written. Wonders. I'll be assigning work from Wonders. There'll be a reading that connects to the content that we've been discussing in class. Right now, we're discussing narrative nonfiction. So I will present stuff that is narrative nonfiction. I will also be assigning grammar work with like YouTube coaching videos that I want you to look at to help you to understand it. Okay. How well you do on these activities will determine what I need to cover the next week. So if I see that a lot of people had a lot of trouble with the grammar, then you know what? I'll have to spend some time in class and we will cover the grammar. We're not going to do the assignments in class, but we're going to talk about what you need to know to understand the grammar. Okay, at the end of most weeks, there will be 6 assignments, 2 daily sheets, 3 days of reader's notebook, 3 days of writer's notebook, that's 1 assignment, a grammar's worksheet from Wonders, and a reading comprehension from Wonders, that's 6. I will add up the scores that you earned on all 6 and divide it by 6, and that's going to be your classwork grade for the week. I think that will allow people who are kind of weak in one areas, but they're strong in other areas to really find their area that they're really good in, and that will really help their scores. No. If we're working on a project, essay, or studying for a test, I will absolutely adjust the amount of work given on Wonders. So if we have a project, an essay, or studying for a test, I might get rid of one of these 2 assignments or even both of them because I expect you to spend time during asynchronous activity working on the project, essay, or studying for the test. So it would absolutely not be okay for me to expect you to do that and do the grammars and the grammar and or reading comprehension. Okay, participation. Based on how much work you have completed and your interaction in class, your daily sheet is a good way to show interaction, even without raising your hand. I will determine a participation grade for the week. If you turn in everything on time, even with errors, I feel that that is 100% for your participation grade. So I want you to focus on completion so that I can see areas that you are having a hard time in so that I can design work for you that is going to be helpful for you to grow. I want you guys, and I know you guys have talked about this with Miss Gabbis, and I 100% was excited to hear that she was on board with this because I want you guys to have a growth mindset. And without going into too much detail, I want you to know it is okay to not know. It is okay to stop, walk away, come back to it at another time or even a different day. Visit me during my office hours if you have a question and work on it there. Office hours are between 8 and 9. It's okay to fail. In fact, you grow from improving upon your failures. Understand that you are not perfect and that's okay. Always keep growing. And remember this, don't say I can't, say I can't yet. All right, folks, if you have any questions, I am happy to answer.